And if you're going for an Armin Strom watch, you become in a way a family member, right? I mean, you become in fact a brand ambassador because you like what we're doing. And we highly appreciate that people come and see what's going on. And there's at the end, there's a close band in between. It's not about selling a watch. It's about having a fan more around the globe, appreciating what we're doing. And where we spend hours and hours and days for.
First of all, welcome to Kuwait. Is this your first visit?
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No worries. Is it your first visit or you've been to Kuwait before?
No, I've been to Kuwait before last year, but that was my first travel to come here. And it's a great experience.
It was for Armin and such, or why did he visit Kuwait? Because we know your brand wasn't here in Kuwait before.
Right, that's correct. Well, when you're just doing 500 watches a year, distribution is very limited. So we're facing a huge demand, and we stay very loyal to our point of sales we have. So we're not opening up a lot of point of sales. We're getting stronger. The momentum is here in the region from Dubai up, such as Qatar, such as Bahrain, such as Saudi Arabia. And so, I wanted to make my mind. We had a very good conversation with Ayman from Tiara. We've met each other at a couple of shows. And so, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
I want to always see that from my own eyes.
That's why you came.
And so that's why I came last year, to see and to feel and what people do think about the brand. And so, happy to be back.
Nice. Well, first of all, introduce yourself within the company. So what do you do? How many years have you been with Armin? Yeah.
My name is Sabastian. I'm the head of sales and taking care of everything what comes to my desk. As you know, we're a small company. We have 45 people under one roof, so we're dealing with a couple of things, with a lot of things, in fact. Yeah.
So how many years have you been with Armin Strom?
Well, I rejoined the company, so it's another 2 years after I have left the company, and so in total it's 8 years now.
Oh, 8 years. Because if you take us, can you give us a brief history about the brand? When was it established? And
Absolutely.
You just mentioned 500 watches. That's all.
Yeah. So this all got started in 2008 when Serge and Claude, founder and co-founder, have taken over the chapter of Mr. Armin Strom himself. So the Armin Strom, the watchmaker, started his career back in 1967. He had like a store, sold watches, did repairs, but he was really passionate about skeletonized watches. So he took off-the-shelf regular movements and he started to cut off the most he could to make it as a piece of art. And so that's the original DNA of Armin Strom. He got older. He were looking for someone who gonna carry on the brand heritage. And given the fact Serge, Claude, their families, they still live in that village, so they did know each other very well, Mr. Armin Strom and the families, and so they have taken over the business, the brand, in 2008. So we opened up pretty much a different chapter. It's like Armin Strom 2.0. It's not any longer a one-man show, such as Armin did back in the days. So as I said, 500 watches a year, roughly. So it's
nothing.
It's the next level, yeah. No.
So he started as a retailer for other brands,
yeah,
and a repair shop.
Yeah.
But he used to like skeletonized watches.
Absolutely.
So he just take a ready-made watch,
yeah,
and then skeletonize it by just taking the bridges out and
I mean, he was kind of, he wanted make to be seen what's inside the great watch. I mean, a good watch, you're going to recognize by its heart, the movement. And so it's all about the movement, and it's about the decoration at the end of the day. And such as Armin did, Armin Strom, that's what we do by today. We spend the most hours make to be seen what's in the watch by different techniques, decoration patterns. And so that's the hours we spend, because we want to make that become a piece of art. So that's also why we never cover the craftsmanship by setting up an entire dial. I mean, it would be kind of bizarre, right? If you spend so much hours doing the finishing and then you set up a dial.
Yeah.
So it's in fact like the main plate. I think we're going through the watches. It's in fact the main plate, what is becoming, or the guilloche pattern, what it's coming, making the watch alive.
Yeah.
The dial.
And this is another thing that I've been following your brand for a while. Well, I guess I know it for many years now. And of course there was changes through the collection and what happened, but you're always focused, and to me it's very different to the others. Always have a loop, and if I'm not mistaken, in Bahrain you had like 4 facts or 6 facts, right? Established. And then what were the others? Like if you want to sums up Armin today, what is the brand? What do you guys stand for?
Yeah, I mean, the loop, thank you.
Yeah.
You see the loop on my jacket. I mean, we invite people to have a closer look what's running behind the craftsmanship, where we highly focus on, of course. I mean, the brand by today, it's about transparent mechanics. You know, it's not open work. It goes much far and beyond skeletonized watches. It's about the transparent mechanics. You see, in fact, how a watch does work, and we want to show that DNA. Then it's about we never stop improving. I mean, when we talk then a little bit about the Resonance collection we have, this started back in 1665 when Huygens, the Dutch physician, recognized, there is something going on, because over time the 2 pendulum clocks were swinging the same. So we never stop improving, we rethink pretty much watchmaking ideas. So we open up watchmaking books, we have a look into that, and such as maybe the power reserve on the gravity equal force. We don't want it to display a power reserve just going a hand up and down. So it's directly sitting on the barrel. So I think that is what makes the brand so special and unique.
But still, it's a very smaller brand. You said 500 pieces, 40 people only.
Yeah.
And another thing, when you came to the lounge, when we talked about my partner visiting your manufacturer, you produce a very large amount of the watch in-house, which is very hard for other companies to say.
Yeah.
What is that percentage?
97%. So, I mean, we do almost everything. And, I mean, there's a couple of things running behind. First of all, you can control from buying already raw material to the final, I mean, running quality checks, tests. You can control from the very beginning on to the final end, the whole production. Then, if you're just doing 500 watches a year, I mean, you never would get out of production a watch if you would depend on a lot of suppliers. And we want to have all the skills in-house, skills and tools to be as much independent as we can. And I think there we have really a proven track record.
Yeah, because that's another thing. For that amount of watches, is really hard to produce everything. And you mean by everything in-house? You do the cases, you did dial. We
could actually do the cases, but we were not doing for the time being. We do all what is in the movement, so the movement parts.
Okay.
But we start always with the first, given the fact we do everything in-house. I mean, we start with the first drawing. So there is no base movement. So we have an idea. What shall we do? What do our collectors, our end customers, retailer look for? Because we have a dialogue always going back and forth. So we start with the first hand drawings. Then we go on computer. We do the CAD design. Then we go into CNC machinery, what is in fact the only thing we do by machine. Then we go into decoration. We even have electroplating, galvanic in-house. Then we do pre-assembling and the final assembling and quality control. So it's everything under one roof. One watchmaker is doing, in fact, one watch, but is pretty unique too. And we do a 360-degree decoration.
Yeah.
So we even to decorate things from the back, from the reverse, you cannot see. So this goes back to Mr. Armin Strom himself. He did say, if a watchmaker one day is taking apart a watch, he should start crying because he would not have expected that high-end finishing in the entire watch.
So explain this in detail. So if I have 4 bridges for the movement, for example, 3 bridges. So you polish, you finish everything on top and the bottom. So if you flip it around, it's already finished.
Yeah.
That's what he means.
Yeah.
So it's a perlage on top and down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we want to really meet the highest standards when it comes to decoration. And as you know, today on Instagram, people zoom in, macro shots, as a debate gonna get started. And so this is good. I mean, people really see and appreciate the true craftsmanship.
Actually, you mentioned what I had in mind, because your brand was really promoted really heavily by a guy in Los Angeles, I think. The Mario or something like that, right? I forgot his name.
Mario, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been away from Instagram for a while. I don't remember him posting a lot.
Yeah.
But he was one of the first guys that really drew my attention to your brand, of like how many good things he said about it. And then he did a limited edition with you guys. I think he did 2, not 1.
Yeah.
And that was his point, is that if you go to the bigger brands, without mentioning names, is that they get lazy when it comes to things that you cannot see as a consumer, right? So
yeah, let's put it like that. I think going into watches, it's a journey. You start somewhere, somehow, because you're getting interest into that, and then you buy a watch, and then the journey has already started. You're going into that thinking, how do they, like the watches we have, how can they reach 7 days of power reserve? Or in the Taribiot 1, how can you reach 100 hours of power reserve? And then you start to investigate. We just have seen each other at the show last week. Then you go there, you have a chat with the people running behind, and then you really go step by step into that, and you start to compare and to judge. And I think that's the beauty of watches.
So you mean the journey that you take as a consumer and a watch collector, that you get to. Another thing that what I like about like you and other independent brands is that you're very welcoming to the customers. So you told me your manufacturer is in BN, right? And is it open to the, so if I go to Ayman and tell him, Ayman, I like the watches, but I want to see the manufacturer, can I visit? How can I manage that? Then
we talk with Ayman. Then we fly over to Switzerland, as easy as that. And if you're going for an Armin Strom watch, you become in a way a family member, right? You become in fact a brand ambassador because you like what we're doing. And we highly appreciate that people come and see what's going on, and there's at the end there's a close band in between. It's not about selling a watch, it's about having a fan more around the globe, appreciating what we're doing, and where we spend hours and hours and days for.
So before we get into the watches and the collections, and we do want to come finishing, I want you to explain a little bit of the mechanics and stuff like that. What is the biggest, because another thing now I remember, we are very good friends with Ken from Deluxe in Singapore. And he was here in Kuwait, and he was wearing one of your watches also. He was wearing actually the Hario Mario. He
became a close friend. He helps us, of course, with straps and so on.
And he did events with him. It's to me, when I see a true collector that really resonates with a brand and talks about them very highly, it's very important for you as a brand. But in around the globe, what is the biggest fan base for your brands? Like, where is the biggest market for your brand?
Well, that's a little hard to say because, I mean, the US market is a very strong market. Then Japan. I just, like 3 weeks ago, I was traveling across Japan, and this is so crazy because people you cannot win over by spending more marketing dollars. They appreciate craftsmanship. They judge decoration. It's all about the watch. It's indeed all about the movement. And so, I mean, that's what the brand stands for. And so it was so nice having, to know that there's such a fan base, so brand ambassadors. Then a little different, of course, Southeast Asia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, very important. The GCC countries, Middle East. Nice momentum. I've seen that last week. Very not knowledgeable people, very interested into. And of course, our home countries, all Europe.
Yeah. So Europe also.
So we're really spread out. So it's hard it's hard to answer, to be very honest.
Yeah. Because what the thing is, we believe in our region is that, and we as timekeeper, to be honest with you, would love to promote smaller brands because our region's been very exposed to the bigger guys. So it's all, we grew up with Omega, Pateks and Rolexes. If you're lucky with Patek, but Omega, Rolexes, and even the bigger brand Tissot and these stuff. And when you go to independents, with the price range, some people would be would be afraid to enter this. But as you said, like in Bahrain, in Dubai Watch Week, for example, it's an amazing experience for us.
Yes.
Because we get to see these watches, which we weren't fortunate to see them before. And your brand always been very welcoming with the loop. Everywhere I go, I see the loop.
Thank you.
Welcoming people see it.
Thank you. That puts really a smile on my face. I think we as a brand, I mean, we really we have an open door policy. We want to really show what we're doing. We're proud of, and we want to, it's, you know, watchmaking is problem solving also. And if you have such an outstanding complication or a watch at the end of the day, I mean, it's nice to show around and to have a nice conversation. And I think that matters at the end of the day, because the true value in life, it's time. So like now, if we can spend with each other, if you're in great company, I mean, that's what it is. Exactly. In a nutshell.
That's the journey, and that's watch collecting. So before we get into the watches we have, I did a quick research just to refresh my mind. You guys have more than, I don't know how many calibers since. So you established in 2008, which is not that long.
Yes, 2008 taken over.
Yeah.
The chapter 2009 or 2010. The first watch got launched, the 1 week double barrel hand winding watch. And since back then, we have developed 17 own movements.
Wow. That's a lot of movements for like a small manufacturer.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it goes back to your answer where you start with a base plate and then you build it up. Nice. And then let's talk about the collection we have. Where do you want to start? You want to start from the entry level, let's say, or the introduction to the brands, or you want to start from the top?
We can start with the Tribute 1 Green, if you like, on the very left-hand side.
Yeah.
So the Tribute 1 is the most dress-up watch we do in respect to a classical watch, but done in a really, really fashionable design. It's a decent size. It's a 38 millimeter case size. Have a look at the guilloche finishing. There is a long-lasting relationship with Kari Voutilainen. And Kari, he's doing all the guilloche dials for Armin Strom. So have a look at that guilloche finishing, the railway track going around. You see minute and hour. You see down there the finger bridge, what is holding the barrel. So if you start to rewind, the disc starts turning, and the watch has 100 hours of power reserve. So when saying we rethink watchmaking ideas, we bring into that watch the technology from US pocket watches from the last decade. And by having this technology, we can push in a much bigger spring. That's why we, at the end, with this motor barrel, we reach a much longer power reserve.
That's
So
100 hours for a 38 in this. It's not thick also.
right.
So the way you're doing it is a single spring?
Yeah.
Or there's
So
a
the
double-
arbor winds up the spring like back in these days. And so that's, I mean, if you open up the chronicle books of watchmaking, so we got into this, and so we have the Tribute one now in green, just launched, and very nice color, sandstein. So that natural stone sand color, what is really in demand. So that's the Tribute one, yeah.
That's, let's say this is the start, or if you want to get into the brand, this is the entry level, right?
Well, I'm not talking so much about entry price level. I'm even not talking about entry, because we have like 6 collections, and the 6 collections are so independently running, because we're not all the same, but different.
Yeah, true.
So
true. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
that's what I want to say. So it depends on what you as a human being like the most, and at the end you go for that piece. So
Perfect. And then if you want to move to something else,
yeah, then let's present me the 1 week double barrel hand winding watch. 1 week, as easy as that, stands for 7 days of power reserve.
Okay.
Double barrel. We just launched the titanium version, skeleton titanium, 95 grams, a very light material, matte finishing, compared the stainless steel with the blue face. I have it here, different shades, tone of blue, 140 grams. And so it's crazy about, if you hold both watches in your hands, how much of a difference it can be. The matte, the polished finish in terms of weight, but also in terms of, by saying not covering the craftsmanship, I mean, you see the bridge design. If you start to wind up the watch, you in fact see the wheels turn simultaneously at the same time.
so you want
Then
both.
you see how you tighten up the springs underneath. So it's pure mechanics.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Grade 5 done. So hard to scratch. So very nice piece. Yeah.
It's very nice. And we have running seconds at 9.
Yeah.
The double barrel. It's an automatic, or it's
a hand winding
hand
watch,
winding.
double barrel hand winding. End of 11 o'clock, we have the power reserve. So that's also a point I would like to come up with. If you know, you know. So
Yeah, how can you read- yeah.
there's always a lot to discover, to explore. The 1 week is so nice because you have this different, like layers. So there's a lot. If you have a look into that, it's like 3D. There's a lot to really see.
Beautiful. And the bridge you're doing for the barrel, the one you're doing for the finger, you call it finger bridge?
Finger bridge, yes.
It became a signature of you guys,
Yeah,
right?
it became really much a hallmark of Armin Strom. And think about that, just for such a finger bridge. There is a lady sitting there at the workshop. It takes up to 12 hours just to do the finishing, the polishing, the non-polished, the anglage, the side grinding. So, I mean, I invite you to have a closer
I
look
will have
then, with the microfine glass, with the loop. So it's very a piece of art. It's nice.
Beautiful. And you said how many types of finishing for this bridge only? You said 3, right? Anglage.
There's several patterns. So you start with very thick paper. You take a lot of material, and then you start going thinner, and at the end you take even an ancient wood, and with the ancient wood you do really the finishing. So if you zoom in, what I guess you do then later on, I mean, you can see the difference.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Smooth winding too.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
So 7 days of power reserve for the 1 week. Then what I would like to present you is the gravity equal force. The gravity equal force 41 millimeter case size. It's a micro rotor automatic watch. So you see on top, if you keep holding the watch very flat, it just needs a little and the micro rotor starts to spin, made out of tungsten, very heavy material, because the micro rotor has to do the same job as a centralized rotor. So that's why it has to be heavier. It has to rewind the watch if you're wearing the watch on your wrist all day long. And the gravity equal force is nice to look at. In fact, the main plate, the guilloche finishing on the main plate, is becoming the dial in a way of the watch.
True. And what do you mean by equal force? Is that just the name, or there's actually a technical thing going on?
Yeah, the gravity equal force, it's in fact a constant force. Okay. So the constant force meaning the watch does have a stop work declutch mechanism. So this is a Maltese cross. Okay. So meaning if the watch winds up, we never let fully rewind the watch. Mm-hmm. So the spring goes tighter, but we never let it fully 100% rewind. We cut it before, we block it before with the Maltese cross mechanism. And on the other way, we never fully let unwheel the spring. So because for every watch, it's hard to handle the power. If you have too much power, it's like when we were kids playing with toy cars. So you rewind that toy car. So
that's the end. Yeah.
So you rewind, fully wind it. You let the car go. But at the very beginning, it's hard for the car. The wheels even start to turn. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard to handle the power, to bring the power on the ground. And then you have that middle part when the car goes very smoothly and very accurate. And then you have the finishing when the car comes to a complete stop. So the mid part is in fact the best part. And so that's what the gravity equal force can control pretty much. You take the mid part, the best part out of it, where you have the optimal, the best torque given to the movement. So that's why it runs very, 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 very accurate. Thank you. By still having 72 hours of power reserve. So we do not compromise a lot the power reserve by having the stop work declutch mechanism, the Maltese cross involved there.
Very interesting. So you don't overwind it and you don't let it go. So fully, at the end, you're trying to, the amplitude of the movement or the escapement, trying to keep it in balance so that always gets the same kind of power, right? Coming throughout.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So that's a very different thing to a repertoire or a constant force, right? Where you store the power and then release it exactly the same amount every time.
Right.
So you did it, you made it on the barrel side instead of making it as a device within before the escapement, right?
You see that in fact, Armin Strom, it's all about if you know, you know.
Yeah.
What I want to come up with. We're a technical brand. We have a very fresh, clean design. I never, of course, would get someone familiar by saying, hey, have a look at the watch, the gravity equal force, Maltese cross mechanism, and so on and so on. I mean, first of all, and that's the most important point, the watch has to be good looking. It has to be nice on the wrist.
The symmetry of the watch is very nice. Yeah.
And then, if we want to go deeper into that field of watchmaking, very warm welcomed. That's why I used to say, if you know, you know. There's always a lot to talk about technical points and engineering when it comes to the Armin Strom. I mean, on the barrel down there is sitting the power reserve. So that's also something very unusual. That leads me then to the orbit. So we do things definitely different.
Very different. And thank you very much. That's one of the reasons that I'm trying to ask these questions to get to more technical things, because to me, you guys are doing it the hard way, not the easy way.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Honestly, and
if you're saying that, it means a lot to me. Thank you.
No, and if I'm trying to get more than just a watch, get something there's a lot of effort into it. That's why I like independence. That's why we try at Timekeepers, that we want to educate people that there's way more than just a simple watch, or like we're just buying independent. No, we're buying a lot of effort that goes into it. That's very interesting way.
I mean, at the end of the day, you name it. It's a life-breathing animal, right? I mean, it's a lot of emotion. It's an emotional piece. So that leads me a little bit to the orbit. Same movement, such as the gravity equal force, this multi-cross stop work declutch mechanism we were talking about. It's the most sportiest watch we do within Armin Strom. Orbit, if you have a look firsthand, maybe you think it's a GMT watch. Yeah. But it's not, because you see the numbers roundabout. So it's in fact from the 1st to the 31st, the dates. And we back home wanted to have a date function, a date again. And so, but not doing it like maybe others display the date. So we have, with the column wheel mechanism, what normally is used for chronographs, we take advantage of that mechanism and we display the date on demand. So you hit the monopusher, the hand jumps to the current date, but maybe it bothers you because you want to see the movement in its full glory. You push again, and the hand jumps retrograde back on 12 o'clock. How cool is that?
It's actually very cool. I remember seeing it 4 years ago in Watches and Wonders or something.
Yeah, we started with the
I don't remember the year.
The first edition. Yeah. We always have a first edition, by the way.
Yeah.
The first edition, we give 10 years of warranty. So we're pretty confident in what we're doing. So we show credibility to the first buyers and collectors, 10 years of warranty. Then after the first edition is coming the manufacturer edition. And happy to present you the DLC Black Purple Orbit, launched at Watches and Wonders beginning of the year, and the Ice Blue and Lime Green just in July this year.
Perfect. So let's go back to the technical. So these are, you introduced it a few years ago, and these are like the same watch, different execution. Mm-hmm. So how is the clutch, or how is it working when it comes to the date? So there's a memory, or there's something that's holding it. So it's the 21st.
Yeah.
Then you click it, it goes back, and then you click. How does it work mechanically?
So we have that black polished column wheel, if you have a look into that, and this is normally used for chronographs, but we wanna take advantage of that, and we do the date function. So if you push, it keeps going to the current date. But thank you for that question. So I mean, it's regular behavior. When the hand goes at night, 12 o'clock, midnight, it jumps to the next. But when you have it stationary, the watch, of course, the date function keeps on going. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to know the current date, you push again. The watch behind, it kept on running, but you push and then it goes back and displays that mechanism.
So when you push, you engage the hand itself, yes. But the date is keep going. So if I leave it for a day, I come the next day, it jumps, but still at 12. Yeah. I push it, goes.
So it keeps on going to the 31st, and then it does not go over midnight. So it goes retrograde back, and it starts with the first again. So very special. It's in fact the world's first watch with the date on demand function on the bezel, on the black ceramic bezel here.
Very nice. And how did the idea come to you guys?
Yeah, it was a process, because we wanted to have a date function. And, by saying rethink watchmaking ideas, or we never stop improving, it should have been a little outstanding. And so we have our own engineer department. We have Claude. And so they were talking to each other, and we spent a lot of time with each other during lunchtime, and that's where the most of ideas always come alive.
Yeah, very cool. And if you want to jump to something else,
I want to jump into the top line product, what the brand really stands for. It's the Résonance collection. So let me highlight the watch, the Mirrored Force Résonance in ice blue. So the Résonance, in fact, does have two independently running movements. So completely two own movements. And the two movements via the built-for-purpose suspension, via the clutch spring, the butterfly-shaped clutch spring, they start talking to each other, they start to communicate, and they go in resonance, meaning they're fully synchronized. And what's the result? It's the most accurate watch over a very, very long period of time, because the two movements, as matter of nature, one movement is always stronger, another movement is always weaker. They're never ever the same. But they balance each other out well, meaning there's always a backup going back and forth. So this means the faster going one is pushing up the slower going one, and the slower going one, of course, is holding back the fast going one. So they're really in resonance.
And you said the most accurate on a longer. What did you mean on a longer period?
I mean, saying if you have GOSC certified watches, you always check within 24 hours. And so this is over a long period of time where you can see that the watch is accurate and keeps on going very, very accurate. And now you say, now you're saying, Sebastian, I understand. It's like you have two engines in a car going the same, or like having two hearts in a body, and they start beating the same, boom, 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 same frequency. So this watch is fully in resonance. And now you say, yeah, I understand, but how can you prove that the watch is in resonance? So we have on top a running second going anti-clock, and I have a second going clockwise down there. So the white hand, what will become your reference, has to be on top and below at the same time, at the same marker index, and you know that the watch is in resonance. So you have a visual proof.
Oh, okay.
So a very, very accurate resonance watch.
And when you said two separate movements, you mean totally separate movements? Mainspring, gear train,
balance
wheel,
everything
aligned next to each other, right?
Yeah.
Or they integrated?
So we have it on top and below. You're actually going to see that. We also have created that the movement on top, the running second, is already going anti-clock and clockwise. Even here, the watch does in different positions or in terms of shock, they do balance each other out well. So that's really what the brand stands for today. And that's an old concept. The principle of resonance is going back to 1665, when Huygens, Mr. Huygens, the Dutch physician, he had in his apartment the wooden beam. And on that wooden beam were hanging two pendulum clocks. And the pendulum clocks were swinging in different directions. This gentleman got sick, he got to bed, he awoke, and he did see that the pendulum clocks were swinging exactly the same way. So he could not explain what it's all about, but he figured out, there is something going on. So that's the principle of resonance. And that wooden beam, back to 1665 with Huygens, is in fact the clutch spring, the built-for-purpose suspension, what brings the vibration into the watch, because you have to have a certain element to bring the watch in resonance.
And this complication, if we can call it, it's done by how many brands now? I know one. You guys are the second.
So who do you know then?
Fijourn, of course.
Fijourn, right.
He took many years to do it.
Yeah.
I think it was one of his first projects. He really wanted to do it. He left the project, went back to it. And then he did it. You guys. Who else? I don't know.
There's Vianney Halter. There's Haldiman.
Okay.
So our concept goes back to Huygens with that wooden beam with the vibration, because resonance, it's not like you wake up one day in the morning saying, hey, let's do a resonance watch. It's a principle. Here in the region, you have much higher, much taller buildings than we have back home in Switzerland. So they have to go in resonance too. So if an earthquake starts to arise, skyscrapers do have a pendulum in the lower pavement. So the skyscraper goes in resonance
with
the earthquake. Otherwise, these tall buildings would fall apart. Or if we go hiking, if you're next time in Switzerland, let's go hiking. So we have a hanging bridge. And the same here. If we walk on our own over that bridge, we can hardly make it if we're both of us going the same way, the same bridge. But if we start going the same, we go in resonance, and the bridge, in fact, starts to get resonating with the walk we're doing. So it's in fact a very, very interesting principle, the principle of resonance, and it's pure physics.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So apart from a great good looking watch, if you go into that, having a visual proof with the running seconds, it's absolutely breathtaking. So I also brought with me, you see the smaller wristwatch, the dual time GMT resonance steel in 39 millimeter case. So we, based on the resonance, two movements in sync, beating the same, we wanted to display a dual time zone. So you have your home time and you have the time of a second time zone. I'm saying that way because even here the idea comes from pocket watches. So back in the days when railway, think about that, railway got invented, people started to travel. People who could afford had the pocket watch. You open up and you have your home time and the time of your final destination, because there was no GMT in place. Think about how hard, in fact, it was.
Yeah.
So you drove you have arrived in the city by railway. First you did, checking out what time does this city have, and then you set this second time zone. And that's how we came up with the idea to display or to have a dual time zone based on the resonance.
And it's set separately by a pusher, or how do you set the... Yeah.
So you have two crowns. With one crown on the right-hand side, I rewind both movements at the same time, and I'm going to set the time zone. The left crown is then just to set the second time zone.
Perfect. Yeah, very interesting. And what I noticed is that you started with this complication bigger sizes, I remember.
Yes,
right?
So...
And he's slowly trying to minimize it, make it difficult for you, because when it comes to watchmaking, and I like to discuss this a lot with watchmakers, is that you can easily fit a lot of complications in a big watch. Very easy. You can make a 16 watch with every grand complication you can think of. But the real challenge is trying to make this complications as smaller movements, thinner movements. And this is what I've been trying you guys doing in the past few years, right?
Yeah. I mean, we came up the first dual time was in fact the Masterpiece 1. What was really a big, bulky watch. So we wanted to have that masterpiece to show what we're capable of. I mean, you have the tremblage finishing on the bridges on top. We have black polishing. Black polishing means it's as hard as we can polished, so light cannot reflect any longer. So it's either high, shiny, glossy, or black, because light cannot break. So it was that tremblage. It was that black polished, mirrored polished. It's the guilloche hand finished dials, the 24-hour day-night indication, the Geneva stripes, the Côte de Genève. So this watch really is all about the skills. And now we not have resized the watch. So it's a whole new movement in that 39 millimeter case size. But you're right. That's the hardest part and the most challenging, because the only thing we cannot do smaller is the butterfly-shaped clutch spring.
Because
and that's the secret. Smaller, that's the secret.
You lose the effectiveness.
How we can bring the two movements in sync.
Yeah, because if it's small enough, it doesn't affect anything, right?
Yeah.
You need enough mass, or enough movement.
Right. I mean, that was really the challenge, and also thanks to CMS in Neuchâtel. So that's
CMS. Sorry, who's CMS?
That's like the MIT Boston in maybe in
okay.
the US.
Okay,
So they're
okay.
pretty much scientists,
Okay.
and they also helped us to get that right shape and to have that as a patented resonance watch at the end of the day.
Perfect. I know I took a lot of your time.
No, not at all.
Podcast. So we covered all the collection here. You mentioned, I want to talk about the finishing because you guys focus a lot about finishing. You mentioned that it takes 12 hours to finish one small bridge, right?
Yes.
And in the watch you have some of them two bridges, some of them one bridges. So you're talking there's a lady or a man staying 12 hours on his bench trying to polish a single, I don't know how much is that, like
bridge, yeah, to do
5
that bridge.
or I don't know how big is the bridge. It's like the size of the bridge.
Yeah.
So how do you know how many types of finishing you guys do?
Yeah, we do different. I mean, when it comes to decoration patterns, we do a lot. And that's what the brand at the end stands for. I mean, there is the pearls, like you set by hand, every pearl covering the next pearl by hand.
That's perlage, you mean? Or what do you mean?
The perlage, yes,
Okay,
that's what we do. Or I mean, the Geneva stripes, the Côte de Genève. So a very good example is the gravity equal force. If you have a look from the back, it looks like one bridge having the Côte de Genève. You say Côte de Genève or Geneva stripes?
We say Côte de Genève.
Côte de Genève. But if you have a closer look, you see it's multiple layers. So that's why we do all these components in one shot by hand. So even if it's multiple layers, it looks like one component, like one decorated piece at the end of the day. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And you do it twice. If you're doing up and down in every corner, you're doing it kind of twice.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice. And the Côte de Genève, another trick that I was taught by a great watchmaker, Romain Gauthier, and he was talking about it and how they do it in different bridges and how you have to see it that it transfers from one bridge to another seamlessly, even if it's done different times, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's done separately.
Yeah.
That's another thing that's, if you think about it, like the amount of details and effort that goes into it, to me, and that's another thing, and I want to get your opinion on it. What I like nowadays is happening, there's a shift in style of people, is that they used to love complications 15 years ago. It's all about complications, right? Nothing about finishing. If you switch it now, the biggest independents are the guys who does the amazing finishing. Rajab, Dufour, Smith, these guys, right?
Yeah.
And you guys been doing it from day one on an accessible price, to be honest with you. So you're getting a lot of watch. Even the Tribute one, the Geneva stripes on the back was amazing. Like it's a very wide one you do to. There's different types of Geneva stripes, right? Use one type or there's a different types on your watches?
I mean, we have a proper DNA when it comes to that within Armin Strom. But what you're saying, that's a good point. I think you're getting a lot of watch for the value. I mean, in fact, you're spending the money, the watch costs. It's in fact the salaries and working hours spent to do such a great piece.
Yeah,
that's right.
Perfect.
Thank you for telling me that.
And so which one is your favorite, if you want to select one?
That's always the hardest question. You know, I used to say then we have 365 days.
Yeah.
It's like clothing. You don't want to wear the same shoes every day. So you want to have a wider range of selection, and depends a little bit on the vibes, the moods going on, or depends on what kind of event or occasion you're heading towards to. So I fell in love pretty much with titanium recently, because titanium, I was always pretty much into stainless steel watches. I like it a little heavy. I like the material. And so we came up beginning of the year with that titanium grade 5. And I like the matte design. I like as light as it is. I like that transparent style of the 1 week. So yeah, but it's all my babies.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. It's like the kids back home. Yeah. all the same. They're all good.
Yeah, true. Actually, you reminded me something because I wanted to ask you if you're allowed to do a piece unique. Which watch would it be, and what color would you go with?
If I would do,
Yeah,
well, as you see, I like pretty much blue.
yeah. So that's your watch then.
Blue is always something very appealing. It fits very well. So yeah, I mean, that's also the beauty here, talking to our people. Given the fact we do 97% in-house, it's not creating a hassle to think about a unique piece or a bespoke piece. It's in fact a lot of fun to pushing that really to the max, and to have a 1 out of 1 at the end of the day. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Sorry if I asked a lot of technical questions, but this is what we're trying to do and educate people.
No, I'm really happy to answer all that. And if you're next time in Switzerland, please feel free to come again and to see what's going on behind the scenes. Thank you so much. I will
definitely enjoy your stay in Kuwait, and you're always welcome
Thank you.
to visit Kuwait every year, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.